How did you feel initially when Beyonce started dating Jay-Z, who is very successful, but he's also, generally considered a gangster rapper?
Well, I'll tell you this. I've been asked that before, and this is true with Kelly and Solange. I never got involved with their personal relationships. I can only say as a father that I hope I instilled with them the values that they would want to look for in a man. And I think I did when Beyonce wrote on her, I think it was her first album, maybe it was the second one, the song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her daddy. How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've
I
been
mean,
in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters. That's an absolute fact. Well, along with this new book that you wrote about Destiny's Child, you actually wrote another book called Public Relations and Media PR Strategies for the Digital Age. I bought this book as well, and I got to read through it. And it's interesting because a lot of the book is based on not only PR strategies, but interviews and how to conduct yourself and everything else like that. I recently did an interview with Omarion, which became the #1 trending video on YouTube for like 2 days. And I asked him about like a drama-filled situation that he had because he's in a group called B2K, and Lil Fizz is now dating Omarion's baby mother, who he has 2 kids with. And it was kind of a very messy situation because they're on social media, putting it all out there. And I asked him what he thought about the situation, and he gave the most media-trained, cool response I'd ever seen in my life.
Um, I don't feel no ways. I don't feel any way about it. I think that if they're happy, you know, then they should be happy. You know what I'm saying? I think that they, I think they should change the narrative, though.
Like, out of all the celebrities and all the artists I've ever interviewed over the years, there's probably been about 1,000 of them. He has like a PhD in media training. And you actually talk about this in the book. And for all the upcoming artists, when it comes to public relations and media training, what do you think is the best advice that you can give them?
Well, I think first they should do some research on who's interviewing them, or their team should do some research. Uh, but let me just go back. Omarion, I've known since he was probably 14, 15. Chris Stokes has put out 3 boy bands. One of them actually signed on Music World, my label. Omarion is a great young man and was a great kid growing up. We used to play basketball, me and the guys. So I know him very well. And that makes me, I didn't know about this interview, but it makes me proud to know he did a great job. And it makes me proud because I know Chris Stokes is an incredible manager and doesn't get the credit for that. But I always tell my artists that, you don't have to answer every question. Also, it's about knowing and understanding the process of media. I know that I have to help you get your ratings high. And I know that you're going to ask me some questions that are right on the borderline or maybe crosses that borderline. I have the power to answer that or not to answer it, or to do what our president does extremely well, and that's deflect the answer. And so that's part of training, how you want to answer that question. I could very easily now start talking about, earlier we talked about Prince, but what I didn't say is on the Girls Time album that's out today, there's a young lady that sings the first lead on the song Sunshine, at Tamar Ashley Davis, who was signed to Prince and a protege. So I've completely gotten off your question. And I went to something else in the interview that was appealing. And I could have continued on that, and you would have probably continued on with me. That is a skill. I went to Prince, Tamar Davis, Sunshine, so I got to talk about my album, because we've been talking about books. That's a skill.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, in the book, you said that you don't have to answer any questions. It's not like you're being questioned on the witness stand. And what's interesting is that VladTV kind of has this reputation where I get accused of interviewing people like I was a cop in an interrogation room.
See, I don't feel that. I don't feel that about you at all. I just feel we're having a conversation. I have to say, when I'm with you, Vlad, two guys having a conversation. I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. I feel you have a tremendous amount of respect for me, and I have never felt that.
Well, I think what it is that in hip hop, interviews have always been very PR centric. Tough questions don't get asked. People don't want to upset the artist. They want to show up at the listening parties and everything else like that. When I started VladTV, I really took more of a 60 Minutes approach, where it's like, okay, look, we're going to ask the tough questions. And if that makes certain people unhappy or whatever else, it is what it is. We're here to make the greatest interview this person's ever had. But, you mentioned something in the book about you don't want to hide behind no comment. Because when people say that, it actually makes them look already guilty.
Exactly. It does. I really believe that a no comment approach. I'd rather have a dialogue and use the example we just did before and go on to another topic rather than say no comment. Often, most of the time, if not now, always, I don't even have to. We used to ask that whoever I interviewed or whoever the ladies interviewed, that we got the questions first. I don't even require that anymore because that's not a question that I can't handle that one way or the other. I just got to that skill level, where I don't even worry about what question is someone's going to ask me. I don't even think about that anymore.